Let's dive into how Kim Jong-il transformed North Korea into a nation defined by its military might. His leadership marked a turning point, setting the stage for the country's obsession with military power that we see today. When Kim Jong-il took over in the 1990s, North Korea was in deep crisis. The country was isolated from much of the world, the economy was on the verge of collapse, and ordinary people were struggling just to survive. Food shortages were everywhere, and the once tightly controlled system was starting to show cracks. But Kim had a bold vision to pull the country out of this chaos. He decided to make the army the center of everything. This approach became known as the Songun, or military first policy. It wasn't just a slogan, it was a complete shift in how the country operated, and it changed the game for North Korea. Kim massively increased military spending even as the rest of the economy suffered. He funneled resources into the army, building up troops, expanding missile programs, and launching ambitious nuclear projects. The military became the top priority, receiving the best equipment and the most attention from the government. For every North Korean citizen, the message was crystal clear. The military comes first, even before basic needs like food, healthcare, or consumer goods. The army was elevated above all else, and everyone was expected to support this new order. But Songun wasn't just about building weapons or growing the army's size. Kim made the military the backbone of society itself. Soldiers were everywhere, in factories, on farms, and in schools, playing a role in almost every aspect of daily life. He handed top government positions to army leaders, making sure the military had a direct say in how the country was run. The line between military and government blurred, with generals and officers holding enormous power. Soldiers enjoyed privileges that most civilians could only dream of. They got the best food, the best housing, and access to resources that were scarce for everyone else. In a country where shortages were common, being in the military meant a better life. For young North Koreans, joining the military became the fastest and sometimes the only way to get ahead in life. It offered opportunities for advancement, education, and social status that were otherwise out of reach. So why did Kim Jong-il choose this path? What was his motivation for putting the military above everything else? There were two major reasons. First, he wanted to protect North Korea from outside threats, especially from South Korea and the United States. By focusing on the army, Kim aimed to make sure that no one could ever invade or overthrow his regime. The military was his shield against the world. Second, controlling the military meant controlling the country. By rewarding loyal officers and making the army the most powerful group in society, Kim kept potential rivals in check and ensured his grip on power remained unchallenged. Under his rule, North Korea's military didn't just grow in size, it became one of the world's largest standing armies, with over 1 million soldiers ready to serve. The scale of military parades and displays was meant to impress both the North Korean people and the outside world. Kim also pushed hard for nuclear weapons, seeing them as the ultimate guarantee of security. In 2006, North Korea tested its first nuclear bomb, shocking the world and forcing other countries to take North Korea seriously, despite its economic struggles. This move put North Korea on the global map as a nuclear power. Of course, there were serious downsides. Most North Koreans saw their standard of living drop even further as more and more resources were diverted to the military. Everyday life became harder, and basic necessities grew scarcer. The country became even more isolated from the rest of the world, with strict controls on movement and information. Borders were tightened, and contact with outsiders was almost impossible for ordinary people. But for Kim Jong-il, the sacrifices were worth it. Building up military power kept his regime firmly in control and ensured that North Korea had a seat at the table in global politics, no matter the cost to its people. So, when you look at North Korea today, a country where the military is everywhere, from city streets to school textbooks, it's clear that this is Kim Jong-il's legacy. His policies shaped the nation's identity and its place in the world. He made sure the army always came first, setting a precedent that continues to define North Korea's society and politics. For better or worse, Kim Jong-il's military-first era built the foundation for North Korea's status as a military powerhouse, a legacy that still shapes the country's future today.